This is Newcap News.
There's still a long way to go, but 2017 is featuring some positive signs that the region's oil and gas sector is on the rebound. One of the city's most prominent employers, Husky Energy, is slowly ramping up production with some major funding. Adam McVicker has more on the cautious optimism.
An unexpected quarterly loss to start the week for Husky Energy as the company shifts its focus to low-cycle, cheaper thermal operations. At the top of Husky's list, an investment, nearly $1 billion for a series of thermal projects in the Lloydminster region.
Each one is an investment of about $350 million, and when they're operational, which we expect will be in the 2020 timeframe, each plant will employ about 30 people full-time.
The higher volumes of production from the new 10,000-barrel-a-day thermal operations has Husky planning an expansion to the Lloydminster asphalt refinery.
The heavy oil in the Lloydminster region is ideal for making that high-quality asphalt. So that's why we're looking at this opportunity to double our capacity.
The expansion has yet to be sanctioned or pass regulatory approval, but at an open house Wednesday, the interest is around regional benefits.
During the peak of construction, we're expecting about 800 jobs to be created. Once the plant is operating, we're looking at about 50 full-time positions. And of course, we expect some spin-off benefits for local services and businesses.
The potential expansion is welcome news at City Hall.
Going to bring some new jobs to town, and that's just that economic growth that's so important to continue to see our city grow.
Husky's hoping to build this project just south of the current upgrader that's east of Lloydminster. But the question remains, does this kind of activity mean a potential rebound for the oil and gas sector in our region?
I would say it's sort of a cautious step forward. We're not going to be returning to the kind of hiring and spending that we had seen in previous years very quickly, but we are moving cautiously forward.
That cautious optimism also being felt across the border city.
As you can see, there's wanted positions around the city in the oil and gas industry. Those are always good signs.
But with spring breakup at the end of March, companies like Husky are hoping for a much clearer outlook in 2017. Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
Well, it may be the start of a new month, but it's also the official start to wildfire season in Alberta. Traditionally, the season starts in April, but after the unforgettable Fort McMurray wildfire last spring, the province is getting a head start on preparing for another potential emergency situation. Here's Gina Martin with the County of Vermilion River's prediction of the wildfire season locally.
We do have a potential for having a very active spring season for fires. We have low snow levels, low moisture levels.
A problem not only in Alberta, but on both sides of the border. The Water Security Agency in Saskatchewan looks at spring runoff potential in February and March, and preliminary findings aren't good.
For majority of the province is currently at below normal. And that's because of a lot of the warmer temperatures we've seen in the last couple months over winter here, and we've lost a lot of snow to sublimation, and those warm temperatures having a pretty serious impact in a lot of areas.
The WSA looks at fall moisture conditions and winter freeze-up across the province, and snow currently is quite dry.
Now, there is still more winter to come, as much as nobody wants to hear that. There could be some more potential for precipitation and snowfall in March.
And the county isn't raising any alarms just yet.
The only thing we're going to be worried about right in the spring is getting the farmers to get their crops off the field. We might have to do something with crop residues, some burning and stuff. We're working on a plan on that right now.
And the WSA will be releasing its first spring runoff forecast in the next couple of weeks. Gina Martin, Newcap News.
Lloydminster City Council has greenlit a governance audit, letting a third party take a look at decision-making and how things operate inside City Hall. The city has sourced the services of municipal governance guru George Cuff to conduct the audit.
It's never a bad thing to have a good look at your organization from time to time, and any recommendations that come forward would certainly look at implementing them based on council's direction.
Carroll and Mayor Gerald Albers feel the audit would give the rookie council an opportunity to learn more about governing. Cuff is expected to conduct thorough interviews with senior management, council and administration. He will also deliver a report and recommendations with his findings. Carroll not sure what to expect.
I can't even tell you because I don't know what he's gonna, he's gonna ask a lot of questions, I'm sure, and so he should. What those recommendations will certainly be between George, Council, and administrations.
The audit will cost the city $70,000 and is expected to begin on March 13th. A local charity is now reaching out to the community for help. Demand is on the rise and donations aren't meeting the need. This room at the Salvation Army is usually full with donations. However, the empty boxes are piling up.
There's a huge need we have for non-perishable foods right now. Our food bank is lower than it usually is this time of year, and we continue to get new clients daily, and we can't keep up with the outgoing of food.
Items like craft dinner, canned foods, cereals, baby products, and feminine hygiene products are in high demand. The food bank says the need is a result of the economy.
January, February can be busy anyway, but with the economy like it is, we find that the numbers are still fairly high.
The food bank serves about 30 families a week. If you want to donate, you can drop off food or money at the Salvation Army Church between 9 and noon, Tuesday to Friday. Despite reports that say certain pesticides are harming bee populations, some beekeepers claim the pollinators have benefited from their application. They also say bee populations have grown in recent years. Brian Lentz with more.
Actually, bee health on the prairies is pretty good.
That's a sentiment you don't often hear when it comes to bees.
We've adopted a lot of integrated pest management programs, and that has really helped the survival rate. And as a matter of fact, colony numbers have grown in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba in the last few years.
Health Canada announced last year it plans to phase out the use of imidacloprid, a popular neonicotinoid pesticide. As well, the Ontario government has restricted the chemical's use, saying it is toxic for bees. But Tharo says the pesticide has helped with beehives.
We actually see benefits in the fact that we're no longer having to deal with emergency sprays for things like Lagus bug, Bertha armyworm, those kind of pests that we saw in the past.
Once the pesticide is phased out, Tharo adds farmers and beekeepers will have to adjust.
Then we're got back to using some things like the organophosphates, which are really tough on bees, really tough on pollinators as a whole, and then hopefully we'll good working relationship between beekeepers and farmers.
Sheila Phillips is a hobby beekeeper by Paradise Hill and says producers will need to coordinate with each other.
Farmers and beekeepers communicating and application timing, withdrawal periods and that sort of thing being observed.
Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
Well, the Lloyd Comp Drama Club took home second place at the Canadian Improv Games in Edmonton last month, but it wasn't the only prize they were able to walk away with. Chantel Germo explains.
Bav Greywall received one of 3 tournament All-Star Awards that came with an all-expenses-paid trip to Improv Camp on Gambier Island, BC, at the end of August.
My teammates start looking over at me and I'm like, oh, he called me. And then I kind of like hopped out there. I was like, oh my God. And I was just high-fiving everybody and shaking hands and stuff. And so it took me like a couple seconds to realize that he called me. But boy, it's pretty awesome. I'm really excited for it.
It is all about teamwork, but I guess what the judges noticed was his ability to really showcase the talents of his team and always put his team before himself. And for that, he got something a little special for himself.
The week-long camp will have Canadian filmmakers, actors, and screenwriters. And there's even talks about an NBA Hall of Famer.
Not only are you learning about improv, but you're learning more so about all these different opportunities you can have in life, and you learn more about them through these people that have been through them.
Although Greywall would like to bring his drama team with him, he says he is definitely looking forward to the experience. Chantel Germo, Newcap News.
Free time is not always so easy to come by as a senior in high school, especially in the final stretch of the school year. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how some students at Holy Rosary are spending their spares. Autumn Wagner, Callie Bernogi, and Serena Brown are mentoring some younger students at St. Thomas Elementary. They're in their final year of high school, a stressful time for most, but since the fall and a few times per week, they've taken it upon themselves to spend their spare time doing this.
I thought that being in the classroom environment would be something that's really good to just broaden my perspective on kids and helping them in their learning abilities.
We do a lot of the learning centers, so different patterns and playing with Play-Doh and using the colors to make different patterns and stuff like that.
We read their books, and then for math I go around and help them with addition, or they play some games with math.
The grade 12 mentors are looking to take the education route in post-secondary, and volunteering their time like this looks good on the application. But the experience is giving them a good insight into what they're signing up for and reaffirming the direction they want to take.
I feel like I have more of a connection with little kids than with people my own age. Seeing their faces light up when they get the right answer, or helping them when they're struggling reading a book.
And it's made me really realize that this is something that I want to do with my life and have this little impact in their lives.
As for the future educators, it's time well spent.
I love it. I just love helping kids, and I just want to help them improve, and so they can push to whatever they want to do in life.
This is Newcap Sports.
The hot topic of conversation around Lloydminster's sporting community is still the provincial championship. The Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball team won last weekend. Lance Phillips now with a Newcap original, providing some insight into the team's celebration of one of its most integral pieces.
Rarely are titles won by a team of rookies. In almost every example of a championship team, you'll find a veteran leader. Someone who has been there and done that, and in the case of Lakeland College women's volleyball, that person is Laura Popplestone. Recently, the college celebrated all its seniors, including the fifth-year libero.
So Laura finally came back to play her fifth year. She didn't enjoy.
Senior night's awesome. It's super exciting for us coaches here. Because of the programming that we offer at Lakeland College, we have a lot of turnover within our athletes, and the ones that want to be here, they want to see through their academic and athletic plans.
You put in 5 years of work with a great group of girls, and you take pride in the program, and it's hard to set that aside, move on. I know for sure I'm going to be watching these girls, cheering them on in the next few years. We're a family, so you don't just leave them behind.
In Popplestone's rookie year, she was privileged to be a part of arguably the school's best ever women's volleyball team. Over the course of that year, she gained knowledge from that team's leaders, and for the last 4 years has been the one to pass on her own knowledge.
Now, hopefully, it's going to come full circle that all those players that she's taught how to lead and what it means to be a Rustler and what you have to do to be successful, that players are going to be able to talk about her moving forwards. I learned this from Laura because of the leader that she is and that she was while she was here. It's a pretty special player for us to be losing, but we're very happy to have had her for the 5 years.
I can learn so much from her, and it's awesome because I can learn technical skills from her, but I can also learn life skills and how to be a leader and how to deal with life situations, so it's pretty awesome.
When most players finish their time with a program, they like to know they've left a lasting impression. For some, that means in the record books, but for others, it can be less tangible, something almost felt as opposed to read. In the case of Popplestone, the impression's been left in both areas.
Laura currently holds the Lakeland College digs record. She sits just under 1,200 digs in her career, and that.
Yeah, her numbers speak for themselves. And in terms of leaving a legacy, I think the biggest part that is her teammates are going to talk about the leader that she is, and what she did to ensure that everybody was going to be successful, including herself.
She has a very distinct way of leading, so I feel like that'll be definitely be a way that she will be remembered.
When people look back, I want them to say she helped that team and helped this team. And so when people look back, I want them to see that I've contributed to not only this team on the court, but the program.